Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because today we're re-diving into one of the most chilling and mysterious stories I've ever come across. We're re-talking about a photo booth that does unjust capture your smile or your goofy faces with friends. No, this photo booth captures something far more sinister, something that exists beyond our understanding of reality. This is the story of the photo booth that captures ghosts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Photo booths are those fun little machines you find at malls or amusement parks, right? You step inside, make some silly faces, and out comes a strip of photos as a memory. But what if I told you there's a photo booth out there that has been capturing images of people who aren't actually there? Images of the dead. Images of ghosts. Sounds impossible, right? Well, stick around because this story is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about photography, the paranormal, and what might be lurking in the shadows all around us. This whole thing started in a small Midwestern town back in the early 2000s. It was one of those quiet places where everyone knew everyone, and not much ever happened. But that all changed when an old arcade, which had been closed for nearly 15 years, reopened its doors. The place had been abandoned since the late 80s, and locals whispered all kinds of stories about why it shut down. Some said bankruptcy, others talked about strange accidents. Nobody really knew the truth. The new owners decided to renovate it, bringing back that nostalgic 80s and 90s vibe. They kept a lot of the original arcade games, and in the corner, near the entrance, they installed what looked like a vintage photo booth. This wasn't just any photo booth, it was an original model from 1978 with the heavy curtain and that distinctive flash that would pop 4 times. The new owners found it in the basement, covered in dust, but surprisingly, it still worked. They cleaned it up, got it running, and opened it for business. At first, everything seemed normal. Kids, teens, and families used it, getting their picture strips and heading home. But then, things started getting weird. It began with small things people initially brushed off. Someone would notice a strange blur in the background. Another person would see a shadow that didn't match anything in the booth. Most people just laughed it off as a glitch in the old camera. But then came the incident that changed everything. One Saturday night, a group of 4 teenage girls went into the photo booth. They were laughing and making funny faces, just having a good time. They took their 4 photos and waited outside for the strip to print. But as they looked at the pictures, their excitement turned to absolute terror. In every single photo, standing right behind them, was the figure of a 5th person. It was a girl they didn't recognize, with pale skin and dark, hollow eyes, wearing clothes that looked decades old. The figure was translucent, almost like you could see through her, but she was definitely there in all 4 photos. The girls started screaming and dropped the photo strip. A crowd gathered, and when they saw the photos, a wave of shock went through the arcade. Some people thought it was a prank, but this was an old analog photo booth. There was no way to digitally alter the images. Whatever was in those photos had actually been there in the booth with those girls. Word spread like wildfire through the small town. Soon, everyone knew about the haunted photo booth. The arcade owners didn't know what to do. Part of them wanted to get rid of it immediately, but the mystery was bringing in more customers than ever before. People from all over started showing up, hoping to capture their own paranormal evidence. The booth became a local sensation. But here's where it gets really interesting. As more people used the booth, a pattern emerged. Not everyone captured a ghost. In fact, most people got normal photos. But about 1 out of every 10 groups would get photos with unexplained figures or faces. Paranormal investigators started documenting these occurrences and noticed something fascinating. The ghosts that appeared weren't random. Many of them were the same spirits, appearing over and over again. That pale girl with the dark eyes showed up in dozens of different photo strips. There was also an older man in a suit and a young boy who looked to be about 8 years old. Researchers studying the building's history made some disturbing discoveries. The land where the arcade stood had a dark past. In the 1920s, a boarding house had burned down on that spot, killing 7 people. In the 40s, a medical clinic on the site had an explosion, killing 2 nurses and a doctor. And in the 70s, right before the original arcade was built, a teenage girl died in a car crash right out front. Were these the spirits the photo booth was capturing? But the story gets even stranger. Some people who captured these ghostly images started reporting unusual experiences in the days and weeks that followed. They would see the same figures from their photos appearing in their homes, in mirrors, or standing at the foot of their beds at night. Some heard voices or felt like they were being watched. It was as if capturing these spirits on camera had created a connection, allowing them to follow people home. One particularly disturbing case involved a young couple. They took photos in the booth and captured an image of an elderly woman standing behind them, reaching towards them. They thought it was creepy but cool. But over the next 2 weeks, the girlfriend started having vivid nightmares of an old woman staring at them while they slept. Then she woke up one morning with unexplained scratch marks on her arms. Terrified, they called a paranormal research team. The team confirmed significant paranormal activity in their apartment and performed a cleansing ritual. They advised the couple to destroy the photo strip. The couple burned the photos, and according to them, the activity in their apartment stopped immediately. But here's the truly unsettling part. After they burned their photos, other people who had pictures featuring that same elderly woman reported that she had disappeared from their images. The physical photos they had kept had changed, with the ghostly figure just ... gone. Skeptics have tried to explain it all away. Pareidolia, light leaks, electromagnetic fields, or even an elaborate hoax by the owners. But none of these theories fully account for everything. The consistency of the spirits, the historical connections, and the paranormal aftereffects all point to something genuinely unexplainable. The arcade owners eventually had to make a tough decision. The liability and the disturbing nature of what was happening became too much. They disconnected the photo booth and put it in storage. But even that didn't end the story. Workers reported hearing sounds coming from inside the unplugged booth, flash going off, the curtain moving on its own. Eventually, a private collector who specializes in supposedly haunted objects purchased the photo booth. He took it to his warehouse, where it sits today. A few select research teams have been allowed to study it, and even in a completely different location, the booth continues to produce anomalous images. The collector himself refuses to have his photo taken in it, saying some things are better left alone. So, what do we make of all this? Is this old photo booth really capturing images of ghosts? Or is there a rational explanation we just haven't found yet? The truth is, we may never know, but the story of the ghost photo booth reminds us that there's still so much about our world we don't understand. Reality might be stranger and more complex than we ever imagined. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the paranormal, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Do you believe the photo booth is real, or is there a logical explanation? And if you've ever had your own paranormal experience, I want to hear about it. Until next time, stay curious and maybe think twice before stepping into that old photo booth at your local arcade. See you in the next video.